How you doing today, folks? So before we get started, as always, I want to give a huge shout out to my new subscribers. We are continuing to grow every single day, and I continue to be incredibly thankful for all of you. You mean the absolute world to me. This is going to be a custom by Steve Kyle. He's a maker, to be clear, just custom scales, but it's something pretty crazy. Now, his name goes by Steve Kyle on Facebook. You can also find him at Steve Knife Pimper on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and link both of those things in the actual description below. He does absolutely phenomenal work, and for a really incredibly fair price. I was blown away by how much he charged me for this. Also, unboxing knife as always is the Paragon Knives Warlock. Also, Mr. Steve Kyle, you got some really durable tape. Holy shit. This does not want to cut. I'm just gonna do this old school, folks. No smooth transition this time. We're just gonna rip into this motherfucker. All right. The rest of the box is empty. So, before we get started, here is the original scale. This is for a Hinderer non-flipper. Very rare, hard to find knife. By no means impossible to find, but it's pretty damn difficult. Now, I am a huge fan of symmetry in my knives, so I really kind of wanted to get something crazy done. I wasn't really sure it was even possible. At first, I kind of just wanted just a regular titanium scale. Found out those are almost impossible to find. Put out some of my feelers on the markets to find some makers. I found this man, Steve Kyle, thanks to a buddy of mine, and he absolutely killed it. So this is going to be the completely one-off community custom Hinderer XM24 non-flipper. Now, this is a full titanium, as you can see, titanium on both sides. This piece he milled out himself. This is the original presentation, or excuse me, the original lock scale. And he completely made this one. As you can see, the dimensions are absolutely spot on. This side does have a liner on it, so it's just a little bit thicker, but that's by design. This is a Gen 3 Hinderer XM24 non-flipper, as I hit my goddamn camera. Really solid weight, great in hand. Yeah. I am feeling this. Drops down with a little bit of a shake. Now, I'm not sure if I can flick it out or anything like that. I haven't really tried yet. There's a little bit of discoloration on the blade. Might need to polish that out. But we have this beautiful, it's a stone wash, but it's very much a polished stone wash. You can see it's super reflective. Very nice. Pretty chunky blade stock. I have some stuff that's way bigger than that, but definitely up there. As you guys know, I am a true user, so let's go ahead and tear off a piece of this cardboard and test out this edge geometry. Good to go. Now, will this knife shave an apple, be able to skin a cherry, any of the super extra stuff? Probably not. That being said, oh, don't want to cut that. I don't really need it to. I just need it to be able to process what I needed to process. There we go. Sorry, the paper keeps folding, folks. There we go. So, definitely cuts. I'm having a hell of a hard time with this paper. One more time. Yeah, it keeps folding. Anyways, that has nothing to do with the knife, though. Off camera, I can get this to cut pretty easily. I'm just having trouble doing this on camera. You can hear this. Cuts down cleanly. It's by no means super clean. Again, this is meant to be a work knife. And this is definitely a knife I can carry, love, use, and just in general beat on. Now, a lot of people will probably use this knife as a safe queen. That's just not how I roll personally. This knife will be used, it will be abused, lightly abused, and loved. And just look at that, man. Look at that clean work. Now, for all this work, this cost me $150. The knife obviously costs more than that, but as far as this very intricate milli work done, look at that. Those beautiful lines. Everything is nice and smooth, chamfered down perfectly. Now, just on the presentation scale, if you want to get a titanium XM24 scale, it's $200. That is just on direct from the manufacturer or a authorized dealer, and those aren't around anymore. So you're looking between $300 to $500 sometimes for a titanium scale. Now, let's also take into account that he also milled out the other side, and there's no problem accessing the lock bar. There's no problem with disengagement. Everything is rock solid. So he milled it out in a way that did not interfere with literally anything, and that is just absolute and genuine talent. That is time, that is effort, and that is absolutely phenomenal. I really, really love this knife. Also, look at that. That has to be dead center because there's just no room for error. That's how the maker knows. You really know the maker knows what he's doing. If he just offers himself absolutely zero possible errors, if this is even slightly off center, it's going to scrape the blade. But there's no scrapage because, again, it is rock solid, dead center, fantastic detent. And again, that open, very, very smooth, and it feels great in hand. So I actually do not have my Hinderer, my ZT0560, 460, something like that. But here's the equivalent of a Hinderer XM24. So as you can see, XM18, XM24, as you can see, it is a big difference. It is a noticeably bigger knife, but it is absolutely fantastic. I am so blown away. I normally talk more on these videos. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I normally talk more on these videos, but I'm really just kind of speechless. So, Benchmade full-size reptilian, Benchmade 940. Also going to throw it up a couple Spydercos, just so you guys get a real fair size comparison of what this beast is. Spyderco Manix 2, Spyderco Smock. It's an absolutely big knife. It's a beautiful knife. I would have liked it as is with the G10 scale, but man, after all this work's done, and it's done just so well, and just feels so good in hand, that perfect weight, that troll you can choke up on so cleanly. But even if you don't want to use that, you have this big, full 4-finger grip. Like, you guys know I have 2XL hands, man. Like, I'm not struggling for grip on this thing at all. It holds just fine. And the craziest part about this, Steve, so I'm talking to you directly, man, so I will send you this video. The fact that I can, these are all should be little bitty hot spots, and I was aware of that when I asked for it, right? But I can really bear down on this piece, and there are hot spots, but it's not on this. It's literally right here on this little piece right here. It's where the clip hits, and it's this back piece on the side. But as far as the actual frag pattern themselves, there is nothing. Man, to all you watching who is looking for a titanium scale for a XM24 or for just any knife in general, he also does po' boy mods for the a lot of the Emerson knives where it's like micarta and like titanium and stuff like that. He does absolutely phenomenal work. I cannot recommend him enough. I am so blown away by this piece. This is just more than I could have possibly expected. On top of that, man, look at that. He even matched the stonewash. Like, this is the base scale, and that's the new one. You can't even tell. How? And the crazy thing is, this took him a day. Like he said that he was working on these two scales for about 3.5 hours. In 3.5 hours, you achieved all of this, and you did it so very well. Man, I did not know this is going to be a grail of mine, but this is a grail, and it's a grail not because of the work Hinderer did. It's a grail because of the combination of the work Steve did, because of the price I got from the community. It's a grail because of all of these things combined and the fact that they all come together to make something so uniquely me and so uniquely mine. Man, I always say that everything on my channel is for sale. This knife is not for sale. This is just mine. I'm definitely going to be sending this off to a couple of different channels for review. Keep an eye on your inbox. Scott and Big Bore Knife and Gear, Metal Complex, possibly Slicey Dicey, a few other ones as well, because I want to pass this whole thing around, and this guy does not get near enough love or credit in the community. He is an absolutely phenomenal maker. Can I hit the Spidey flick? I can. My hands are shaking. I can't even actuate this thing. I'm literally trying to flip it open and my hands are just doing this. So I'm going to cut it here, folks. As always, I love you all very, very much. Thank you for your time, your likes, your support, your subscribes, your comments. And before we forget, my overall first impression score on the fully customized Hinderer XM24 by Mr. Steve Kyle is a 100 out of 100. This is my unicorn. I have handled XM24s before. I've handled the flipper versions, to be clear, never a non-flipper. And this just, I really and truly don't have words besides I just love it. 100 out of 100. I am so happy. I am so fucking happy. Anyways, take care, folks. Bye.